You don't need Netflix, you don't need cable. Hop on YouTube, welcome to the hood table, where we chop up local and global events vocally. You don't really wanna miss out on these conversations. Just joke a little, laugh a little, get that wine in your system, fill your glass a little, expose current events, talk trash a little. You never know, these opinions might clash a little. Get addicted to the content, got them binge watching. You don't like it, then you want invited. Bet your friends watching in the house and your job parking lot before you're clocking. They don't wanna miss a second of this HD content. Everybody think they got something to say, so it's an open invitation, bring it to the table. But if you come whack, just know we ain't buying in. We gon' probably turn it back and tell you sorry, try again. Yeah, welcome to the hood table. You don't need Netflix, you don't need cable. Yeah, welcome to the hood table. You don't need Netflix, you don't need cable.
Hey, welcome to the hood table. One more again, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you hit the like button on your way in. Make sure you also hit the share button and share the live out. And also, if you're not subscribed to the Hood Table channel, make sure you please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you won't miss any of our upcoming videos. And we do have a special guest with me, as I promised. Could you please introduce yourself?
I am Dr. Cynthia Robinson. I am chair of the Department of Black Studies at UNO. I am also associate professor in the School of Communication at UNO.
Awesome. Thank you so much. It is a pleasure to have you on the show today. And we actually, are really familiar with each other because, we used to dance together on the same dance team. So I've been knowing Cynthia for a very, very long time, and she has been teaching for a long time. And we're going to speak with her today about things that's been going on in our community as well as around the world when it comes to racism. First, Cynthia, if you could please give us a little bit of your background that led you into teaching Black Studies and being the chair of that department.
So about maybe a little over 30 years ago, I actually, what really led me to Black Studies was I asked myself the question, I just happened to ask myself this question: why don't white people like Black people? And as I pondered that about race, I was not in school. I had never heard of the discipline of Black Studies, but I'm from Omaha. Mm-hmm. And, I would see racism and white supremacy. And I could understand why Blacks would have a problem with whites. But I didn't understand, what is the issue? Why don't white people like us? In fact, I've had people ask me that. So I started just reading books. I read Roots. The book is far different than the movie. I read Before the Mayflower by Lerone Bennett Jr. That really changed my life. And then someone told me, Cynthia, there is a department at UNO called Black Studies, and you can major in Black Studies. And I just really couldn't believe it. So I'm a Goodrich Scholarship student. And I got the scholarship when I was a senior in high school, dropped out, and came back 9 years later and got the scholarship back. And so was able to attend UNO full time, came in, majored in Black Studies, double majored Black Studies and broadcasting.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I did that in 91 and then was a grad assistant, a teaching assistant with Goodrich. Taught my first class in Black Studies in like 97 or so. Mm-hmm. And did that for a couple of years, got into a doctorate program, got my master's in urban studies in 97, got into a doctorate program in Lincoln, communication studies. Mm-hmm. In 98. And then from there, I left Black Studies, got into the department, the communication department, and began teaching public speaking, which I still teach public speaking. Tenured in communication, taught interpersonal, intercultural communication, small group communication, did that for, 10, 12 years. And then was asked to kind of be chair of Black Studies and so I did it for a year in 2011 and 12. And then in 2015, I came back as chair. And so I've been chair since 2015 of Black Studies. And I tell people, I teach everything from public speaking to slavery and race relations. So very proud. Mm-hmm.
Wow, you have a very extensive and impressive background. And that's a good question. I never heard anybody say that before. We sometimes think it, but you just don't hear people, why don't they like us? Mm-hmm. And what did you come up with, like the reasoning behind that?
What I found out is that race is taught, white supremacy is taught. So we all get the same messages, and those messages are white supremacy. Whites are better, and that's the first thing. And so that not only makes people look up to whites, it makes us not like ourselves. But the reason why white people are they're taught to not like black people. So we all know we had slavery in this country, but what we really had, which was different than any other kind of slavery throughout the world and throughout time, was slavery based on race.
Mm-hmm.
And so in this country, we had slavery. You're only going to enslave black people. That evolved into that. It didn't begin that way, but it evolved into that. And by early 1600s, only black people were being, thought of as slaves. And so that went on for some, as you know, a couple of centuries, 2, 3 centuries. And then as after that ended, after the Civil War, there was a kind of about 10 years of reconstruction, and
Mm-hmm.
then white supremacy was threatening, and it came back, and
Yeah.
it came with a vengeance, which it never left, but it really like became very forceful. So
Mm-hmm.
that's where you get all the lynchings and all that, and it really
The
was
Jim Crow era.
that whole Jim Crow era, 100 years of that. There's policies, don't like black people policies, I call them, right? So
Right.
even the Supreme Court, Plessy versus Ferguson, at the 1897 decision of that, things that led to separate and unequal treatment of black people. You can't sit next to black people on the bus, and don't live next door to them, and don't let them in your neighborhoods. There's that, and the media images of the scary black beast, just really devaluing black. And so all of this really comes from slavery and a need to justify white supremacy. So it's just one big giant lie. One
I'm
big
glad you mentioned that about the beast, because when I was reading your article, you had mentioned that in the article about that's how people looked at us, back in those days as beasts. But that naturally just came from them being aggressive when they were trying to be restrained and taken, stolen from their land, right?
Well, no, well, they created a scary black beast. So these are really post-slavery.
Mm-hmm.
This is after the Civil War. So during slavery, you don't look at black people, and especially black men, as black beasts. You don't look at them as aggressive and they're going to kill you and get you. Really, the narrative was they're dumb, they're like children. You have to take care of them. They can't take care of themselves. Slavery is good for them. After the Civil War, so if you look at movies like Gone with the Wind, that's what you see. The happy-go-lucky, they say, they very paternalistic slavery, sorry, God put you here for us to take care of you.
Yeah.
And that kind of, after the Civil War, it was creating really the scary black beast. And I keep saying black beast because that's a quote I read in the Omaha Bee when, at the time when they were talking about Will Brown being lynched. In the Omaha Bee, which is now the Omaha World Herald, get out and find the quote black beast. So I gave a speech on Will Brown, and I said that white supremacy created a black beast, and then white supremacy created fear around that black beast, and then white supremacy used justifiable homicide as a way of dealing with that fear. So media images, the black man on the news, the black people right now looting and all of that, nothing peaceful, nothing good about black people, just the worst of it. And that is to get folks afraid of black people, even some black people afraid of black people. So
Mm-hmm.
that is really what that's.
And that is true. And I do get it now. I do get exactly what you're saying. Because after the slavery ended and whatnot, then it's kind of like a lot of times black men feel like they have to be aggressive or always on guard. Or, I mean, and just like you said, a lot of us, black people are afraid of our own black people.
Because we are taught that. Yeah, we are taught that. But if you think about who's more aggressive than white men? Who does mass shootings?
Right. And
Who,
crazy thing,
who blows up things?
that blows up things. I'm like, it's not
Yeah.
us.
Who loots a continent? Loots a continent, enslaves the people. I mean, you know, you saw the man's knee
Right.
on the brother's neck,
So
very slowly torturing him. You read about lynchings, torturing black men and women. They do not come more aggressive and all of that than white men. In fact, there's a book, The Iceman Inheritance, written by Michael Bradley, who is a white man, and he talks about how race, the concept of race and racism, we already know it was started by white men, but the reason why this hyper aggressive and mentality of white males really comes from the ice age and from the cold climate and the environment and things like that. So this whole narrative of black men as aggressive and scary and all of that was created by whites to scare to make them again, make it okay to kill them, because you got to be afraid of them. So don't hire them. You don't want them to live by you. And for sure, they're going to get your daughters. All of that.
mhm. Yep. You're right. You're right. How do you see Omaha right now? I mean, after the George Floyd incident, when the riots, I mean, people really got in their feelings, really got angry and pissed off about what we witnessed on that videotape that was 8 minutes and 46 seconds. And then, like, right after that, we had a young black man, James Skurlock, downtown, get murdered by, Jake.
Yeah.
So, how do you feel about what's going on here in Omaha? Like, does it seem like it's getting worse as far as like the racism here? Like, I know back in the day, in the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, it was a lot of racism here. And then sometimes it seems like it gets better. And then we see either the police brutality, it just breaks back out again, or white people getting away with killing black people. And it seems unjust.
So we have to look at racism as dominance. It's really dominant. So it's like being a bully. It's like being bullied. That's what it is. And whenever white supremacy is threatened, it becomes more dominant. The politics of Nebraska, the very, very, very red state, very, very conservative Nebraska, Republican, ridiculously conservative. All of that hurts Omaha. Personally, I've seen way too much police brutality in my life. My nephew, David Monks, was killed by the police. He would be 41. June 9th, he was killed by the police when he was 26, tased to death. My neighbor, Mary Ammons, her brother, Marv Ammons, was killed by the police, mistaken identity. I have grown up seeing police brutality. I live in the Miller Park neighborhood. I've always seen it. So I've never been a proud Omahawan. I am a native Omahawan, but I've never been proud of my city. I love my city and all of that. Nope, I've never felt like that. And it is because of the racism. I tell people, to me, Omaha is like, it would be a nice city and clean and, good jobs and things like that were it not for the racism. So it's like going into, someone's, nice house or something, or they want you to come and sit on their couch and there's this big scary dog right there looking at you, and they're like, oh, don't mind the dog, he doesn't bite. It's kind of like that. It keeps you on guard all the time. So
Right.
black people are on guard, but it's because of, you don't ever know what will pop off. And I am encouraged. I said that in the article. I am truly encouraged by the world is outraged. I
Mm-hmm.
I really do think that this is a moment in history. Racism is not something that cannot be undone. It can be dismantled. This country has slaves. It has slavery, um,
Mm-hmm.
and it was built on slavery. The country would have, Thomas Jefferson wouldn't have ever thought there's not going to be slavery, and there's not. So
Mm-hmm.
big, huge systems like that, can be dismantled.
Yes, you're right. Right. I believe it can be too. I just like this is kind of inspiring from what's been going on. And I know some people is like, oh, George, he sacrificed his life, and then some people's like he didn't sacrifice his life. His life was taken from him. But I do understand what people are saying when they say his life was sacrificed, because this just took protesting to a whole different level. It was something different about this murder, compared to the other police brutalities and murders in the past. It was something different with a whole world, not just the United States. This like went so far to Singapore and beyond.
Yeah.
So I think this is going to be definitely, going to define history. I hope soon. I really do hope soon.
Yeah.
So
It's really people standing up. And if people could understand that, again, white supremacy is not smart, it's not smarter, it's not brighter. If anything can destroy this country, it is going to be white supremacy.
Right.
It is going to be how we allow race to divide us. And we got a white supremacist in the White House right now. So all of that makes a difference. You know how you turn the light on and the roaches come out? It's just like that, So Trump, he just turned the light on and the roaches are coming out, and they, they have been hidden, but now they think, hey, it's cool to come on out. And people are saying, no, it's not cool to come out. It's not. And how you are is ignorant.
Yes, and it's very ignorant. Like, I don't know if you heard, but did you hear what happened with the restaurant Leavenworth? People are being so vocal with their racism. Like, they're blatant with it now. They're out. Okay, like for years, we know that there are like Klan in Nebraska. One of their headquarters is not too far from here. And for years, a lot of different corporations, there's been allegations of racism. And so to see this, I was kind of like totally shocked. But I maybe I shouldn't have been, because that's one of my favorite restaurants I like to go to. But when you see, like, I had went live this morning around like 7 a.m. because I just wanted to talk about it. And a lot of people are saying, oh, well, you shouldn't get upset with Leavenworth Cafe because the actual owner wasn't the one who made those posts, but it was their son. But I'm like, their son works there as a cook. And it's been said that the whole family is racist. So how do you feel about giving establishments like these a second chance or not, just because we might not have heard it from the owners?
I try not to go around. I try not to hang out with people who don't like me. I would never go to someone's home if I felt that they wanted to harm me or they had disrespected me. And someone said Leavenworth Cafe ain't all that.
Yeah.
Act like you respect Black people if you want Black dollars, because we have Black dollars. We have a lot of power with our money. So Black people, let's spend our money with people who respect us. Act like you respect us. Now the son who put that on the post, well, what did his parents say to him? Or did the parents say, son, why did you do that? And isn't there
a lot of people want to know?
Isn't there a Robert E. Lee breakfast and all the rest of that?
Yeah, and people were saying that went out, 120 years ago. So why do you still have sandwiches and food named after that? And and one of the people, well, actually, their actual Facebook page commented. So I don't know who runs their Facebook page, but they commented, it's been on for here for years and it's staying. It's not going nowhere.
No problem. You have the right to that. Yeah, you have the right to have whatever you want at your restaurant. Black people, you better wake up, stay woke. You don't, and now if you're comfortable with that, then go ahead. You can spend your money where you want. But again, make people respect you. Here's the question: do you want to be liked or do you want to be respected? I want to be respected. So make people respect you. And if that don't bother you, then keep on going down there and what have you. But if it does bother you, maybe we can do something. Maybe people who are regulars can have that conversation. And but what's going to happen is, I'm talking about black people who are regular. What's going to happen is white people who are regular are going to get angry about it. That's really
They already have. Did you see the post that guy made?
I saw the Sun. I'm not on Facebook.
No. Okay, there's this guy, right, named Scott Grasso. I'm gonna read you what he said. Okay.
Okay.
He put on his Facebook page, and he's a white guy. And he said, after Leavenworth had to close, all because of the Black Lives Matter bullshit, and one of their menu items was the Robert E. Lee breakfast, I've decided the Black Lives Matter is an enemy of our country and has gone too far. He said, I'm about to pack an envelope for bail and go get kick-ass and hope after a dozen can't walk, the rest will stay home. Seriously fed up with people complaining about Confederate state cops, workplace harassment, LGBT, and a whole bunch of other stuff. And he said, I'm not against black, yellow, or white, straight, or gay, but quit complaining and affecting businesses and property. Go get educated and become a political puppet and pass laws. He said, bitching won't do nothing but make people like him pissed off and make others hate you. And he said, should I carry a bat and put Robert E. Lee flag on my truck and wait for the bait? He said, this is seriously out of control and has zero progress, and they're nitpicking about every damn thing.
Yeah.
They're already upset because Leavenworth closed due to the protest. But you see what's being said in public?
And and Leavenworth Cafe is allowing this on their Facebook page, right? This is on their Facebook page?
No, this actually came from an individual's page. He's complaining because we're complaining and protesting, and Leavenworth shut down to the 21st because of the protests. Yeah. So he's upset with us and thinks Black Lives Matter is the enemy.
Yeah, and of course, again, white supremacy is threatened. So this is actually how lynchings got started. This is actually what happened with that, and then that's Jim Crow and all the rest of that. Laws passed like that because remember we're in Reconstruction right after the Civil War. Reconstruction, Black people going to school, Black people can vote, Black men, can vote, and Black people going to school and different things, and white supremacy is threatened. So that's what this is. White supremacy is threatened. And again, to me, see those kind of things right there, talking about getting a bat and putting a Confederate flag, on it and going to fight Black people, which whoever you are, white man, you're talking stuff from a distance. Because we know you're not going to go to the barbershop and say nothing.
And people were daring him. They were like, come on now.
Where Black people are at all and say that. We already know that that's how that is. But again, white supremacy is threatened. And white males are the ones who started race, the concept of it. So that's where that comes from. And it's just I have the right. I got the right to treat you however, and you still do what I say, still do what I want, and give me your money.
Right.
Yeah, that sounds like a pimp. That's
very sad.
What a pimp would say,
Very sad. It's very sad. I know you've been teaching Black Studies for a long time, and you're the chair of that department at UNO. Tell us a little bit about how the Black Power movement helped redefine African American studies.
Well, when I think about Black Studies, it is connected to Carter G. Woodson's. He started Negro History Week, and the reason why is because, and this is in the early 20s, I want to say 1920s. He wrote The Miseducation of the Negro, and the reason why is because really, when you know your history, you know your greatness. While this is going on, there is a huge just take Africa out, take Black people out. Black people have not done anything positive. Africa is a dark continent, far away. We don't know what it is. It's just only slaves come from there, or except Egypt. Egypt's great, but we want to act like Egypt's not on the African continent. Right. So all of that is going on to combat the lie of white supremacy in academia. Black Studies was started. And Black Studies disciplines departments and programs really throughout the country, but they started on the West Coast. I want to say in the 60s. The Department of Black Studies at UNO is coming up on the 50th anniversary,
Oh, wow.
1971. Right.
Wow.
One of the few really departments that are still departments in the U.S. Department of Black Studies. So we are
Okay.
very, very happy about that. The discipline of Black Studies actually changed my life. Um, Getting and knowing and finding out who I am and finding out what race is and what white supremacy is, and then being able to communicate that and educate other people, that has really changed my life and it really motivates me. So I'm very, very proud to just really still be associated and still be able to teach the discipline.
That's good. That's good. You know, my son, my youngest son goes to school there, and I know you had mentioned that you had got the Goodrich scholarship before. He actually is there on the Buffett.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So he has a full ride there and he likes it. He kind of, you know, he used to complain about getting up early to find a parking spot,
Yeah. Yeah.
and doing no. But then after they were out because of the Rona, he was like, man, I miss going to school, you
Yeah.
know. So he's enjoying it and he just finished his first year. So
Good.
I'll have to talk to him and see if he's ever thought about taking that class.
Oh yeah, and what Black Studies does is, first of all, it expands your worldview.
Mm-hmm.
You learn things in Black Studies. I took ancient African civilization, um, and it just I just couldn't believe what I didn't know.
Uh-huh.
Just things. We're taught the best of Europe and the worst of Africa.
Yes.
So racism needs Black inferiority. It must have that. It rests on that. And so that's what our educational system teaches us. Our media images have taught us for decades and decades the worth of. So, but it expands your worldview, and it teaches you your greatness. If you are Black, it teaches you your greatness. And when you know your greatness, when you know your history, you know your greatness. It really, really helps you. It's intrinsic value. And then the most important thing what Black Studies has done for me is help me navigate institutional racism.
Mhm.
Once I discovered the greatness of African people, period, then I understood that white supremacy was a lie. And then that was, and the rest was easy. So
Right.
Black studies is a very powerful discipline, and we always have to fight to make sure it stays a discipline. So yeah, that's very, very important.
Right, very, very important. One thing I wanted to mention about the article that I had read of yours was when you was talking about, there being a deep rooted cancer in this country called white supremacy that keeps, making it. Basically, that's the reason why a lot of Black people are still being killed by cops. A lot of reasons why we still suffering from race-based slavery,
Mhm.
and as far as people still being brutalized and killed by the police, you said like for during routine traffic stops, if they reach for a wallet too quickly or for sleeping in their own bed, police breaking in their house in the middle of the night, mistaken identity. What do you think would have to change in our police department besides just stop killing us? But because I mean, ever since and before Rodney King, I mean, the way that hit the world back then, and then all the meetings and all the training and all the stuff that happened after that, what do you think could change or could make it change?
We have to get serious about understanding the human family. That's first. We are taught to devalue Black people. So somebody sent me a clip of just recently a cop, and I guess he was trying to arrest a drunk guy, white guy, and the white guy's fighting him. White guy, and the cop tased the guy. White guy still fighting him. Then after he got tased, he was so mad that the guy, the drunk guy, he chased the police officer. Actually ran. He chased him, grabbed him, dude still never shot him because that life is valued. So police officers need to value. It literally, truly is Black Lives Matter. But I also want to say, since we're having the conversation, I wasn't gonna bring it up, but since you brought it up, I
Okay.
want to make sure that Black Lives Matter all the time. You know, my colleague in Black Studies, Dr. Nikita Imani, who was chair right before me, he had talked about that. You know, Black people, we kill each other. Black
Yes.
men, we kill. Black men kill each other. Black boys kill each other. Black males kill each other. We
Mhm.
need to make sure Black lives matter to us. We
Mhm.
want it to matter to the police. We want it to matter to white establishments. We want to be treated fairly by white people. We need to treat us good too. That's what we need to do.
That's very true. And one of my Facebook friends, he's an advocate in Omaha, Nebraska. I don't know if you heard about him, but his name is Robert Wagner.
Yes, I think I do know Robert Wagner.
Yeah, he was the guy who was beaten by the police years ago. Then he was taken to jail. Then he sued the police department and he was awarded a large amount of money for that. And ever since then, he's been like advocating for police brutality and different things, going on in our community. And he had even posted that the other day. He was like, Black lives, shouldn't matter only when, an officer is taking one of us out. We still have to, the people in our own community, like people, Black on Black crimes and poverty and Black lives should always matter, like all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like we stand up and we protest for police brutality, but as a community, I believe we need to stand up more for what we are doing to each other
Yeah.
personally.
Black people, we deal with racism and Black on Black crime at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And we are always fighting against Black on Black crime. We are always, there's community things and community organizations.
Mm-hmm.
Enough is enough. All kinds of different things. Nobody wants the violence and the things that Black people, the Black on Black crime and all the rest of that. We don't want that. But I just want to make sure that we keep that in the forefront as we talk about police brutality. And imagine the police, we pay their salary. Their
Right.
job is to protect us. That's what their job is. So I don't want to like comparing the two and it's the exact same thing because it's not. And the police have power. When they kill us, they don't get in trouble until like very, 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 very recently, as
Mm-hmm.
of today, yesterday, you
Yeah.
know, and they can kill us anytime. They have legal weapons. They are, allowed to kill us in
Mm-hmm.
a way that really, again, their job is to protect and serve. And they just,
Yeah, well, I wish they do more protecting. I mean, it's a national problem. It's a national problem. It's just not hit and miss. It's just because there are people out there with the camera rolling
oh yeah, all the time.
at the right place at the right time sometime.
Yeah.
And even I've said it on my show before. If you see something that looks suspect, and you happen to be there, not saying you gotta jump up in a police officer's face or something, but if you at a safe distance and feel the need to hit that record button,
Mhm.
then it might be something in you that knows something is not right with the situation. So, I'm glad there are this modern technology where we can record, all the way back from Rodney King and, other incidents ever since then. But I know this happens on a daily basis, and the police force, they really need to find a way to tackle this because I know it's more complaints than what we see because there's no footage.
Yeah. And back in the day with lynchings, a lot of people, these were in the paper. There
Yep.
were, white people smiling, pointing at the body hanging, So imagine white people doing the killing and taking the picture and proudly,
Mm-hmm.
being photographed. So that's power.
Yeah.
That is what that is. Today, the camera kind of is an equalizer. The phone, the telephone.
Right.
because you catch people doing all kinds of stuff that they shouldn't be doing to black people. So
Mm-hmm.
Amy Cooper, we wouldn't have. I mean, just imagine that she's like, I'm going to call the police and tell them an African American man, and did.
Mm-hmm.
That's just crazy.
I know it is. Well, the last thing I wanted to ask you about, Miss Cynthia, and then we're gonna wrap this interview up. But what do you think about the in Washington D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser? Had the city's Department of Public Works paint Black Lives Matter in humongous letters by the White House.
I say black girls rock.
Yes.
That's what I say.
Yes.
I say black girls rock. She said, okay, keep coming for me, Don. Keep coming for me, Don. I'm not even going to call you President Trump. Keep coming for me, Don or Donald. This is what I get to do.
Mm-hmm.
Individuals have that people have collectively when we stand. So the fence was put up because again, this fear and
Right.
and Trump hiding in the bunker and all that. And then look at what people did with the fence.
Mm-hmm.
Made it really just again when you use your powers for good. So that's what I say to the mayor of Washington D.C. I say black girls rock.
Yes, we got our shirts on.
Yes. And that right there was the most powerful thing I think I have seen.
And it's
right time.
It's like right there leading up to the White House. Like you can't miss it.
Yeah.
And that was very powerful.
She said, come for me. She said these streets belong to the people.
Yes,
and I said, But again, it matters who's in charge because someone else might have had a whole different, response to that. So it matters who's in.
I think you froze on us. Oh no, did she freeze on us?
No, I'm still
here. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah. I hope you didn't freeze.
Yep, I can see you now. It did freeze a little bit, but go ahead.
Good. No, I was just saying people have power and use your powers for good. So yeah, that was very powerful what she did.
And what you just said is powerful too, because if people in power would use their power for good, we wouldn't keep coming to these crossroads where we're out here protesting and people is burning up buildings and, the police is making promises and, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it does mean a lot, to use your power in the right way.
Yes.
And the baton and the badge, protect and serve.
We need powerful white men to talk to powerful white men.
Yes.
That's what we need.
Yes.
And we need, for real allies. Because again, white supremacy can destroy this country. You see the person in the White House. He's not smart. You see the virus. You see his response to regular things. It's like, what is wrong with you, dude?
His Twitter comments, his
God. He's just made and he's made the country a laughing stock. So everybody go vote and make sure you vote
please.
The way down the ballot. All the way down the ballot. You know how we go vote for the president. We got to vote locally.
Yes, and Black Lives Matter. Your vote matters.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, it does. I'm thinking about Preston Love Jr. and his Black votes matter.
Yes, Black votes matter.
Black votes matter. Yeah, and Black voters matter.
Yeah, we have to be heard. And I said the other day on my show, I said the people who complain and y'all not down there standing in a line or sending in your ballots, you have no room to complain. You have to. Our votes matter. You matter. And, it takes a village. And if our village truly did all get out there and vote, man, the things we could do.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you, Miss Cynthia, so very much for coming on. I know you are a very busy woman and you have a lot of things on your plate, from teaching and all these different classes that you do and everything, and being the chair of the Black department. So we do really appreciate you for coming on the show and taking time out with us today. Thank you.
It was my honor. My honor. Thank you, Tanya. Appreciate it.
No, you are very welcome. And I will be talking to you soon, okay?
All right. All right.
All right. Have a good night.
You too.
Who says? Thanks again for everybody tuning in today. Oh, my hair is a mess. It's like so hot and steamy over here. And I got these lights, like dozens of lights on me right now. But I want to thank everybody for tuning in. If you are coming in late, please feel free to hit the rewind button. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you share the live. And of course, make sure you subscribe to the Hood Table if you're not already subscribed, and hit that notification bell so that you won't miss any of our notifications when we go live. And again, we thank Miss Cynthia Robinson, chair of the Department of Black Studies at UNO, Nebraska. UNO. Yes, that's my son's college. But anyway, thank you, Miss Sislo. Thank you for tuning in today. Thanks everybody for tuning in today. I really, really do appreciate that. What is it? Tuesday? Friday Night Live. Remember, no topics off limit, no host barred. Friday Night Live, there's a lot of things that I've been seeing going on, and so there are a lot of different things I want to talk about. And no, they don't all have to deal with, you know, what's going on with the police brutality and the racism, because I know that's hot on the topic list for almost every content creator, media, blogger. So we're going to take a little shift this Friday, just like we did last week, and we're going to talk about some different things that's been going on, including that. Did y'all hear about that 62-year-old found at a hospital? Had been in the stairwell for weeks and weeks. Nobody missed this person, this senior citizen, for like a week, and then they didn't find them for another few weeks, and all the whole time they were in a stairwell at the hospital, the stairwell, for weeks and weeks, dead, and nobody knew. That's one of the things we're going to be talking about Friday. So anyway, again, make sure you hit the subscribe and the notification bell so you won't miss any of our shows. And thanks again for tuning in. Like, share, and subscribe. And in the meantime and in between time, everybody stay safe, be blessed, and I'm out. Deuces.